Okay, there we go. Welcome back to Kicking It Real. It's Gabby, and we have a special guest today. It's Tara Charvat, one of my besties from forever. She's a dancer, she's a singer. She just moved back home, so we got a lot to get into. So Tara,
So many
welcome.
things.
Thanks for
Thank
coming
you. I'm
on.
honored. When you texted me, I was like, oh,
We're actually right now, if the video works, we're still figuring this out, but we're actually in my childhood home, which is so wild because we have lots of memes here.
so many.
But fun fact, we're in my parents' bedroom, and she has
I've
never been.
never been in here. She said we're going upstairs. I said,
She said, "What's
in
upstairs?"
however many years
Haven't been.
and times I've been here, I've never once been in this room before.
Welcome. Yeah, just in time for him to leave it and move out, but that's okay. We're gonna take it back to the Park District days we
Bring it
met.
way back.
Like, what is your recollection of our first meeting? I actually do have one.
Okay, good. Because in the document for our notes, I literally put I don't have a memory of like our very first encounter because I feel like the bulk of our memories were in junior high and
Mhm.
after that.
Okay, well, this is what had happened for me
Okay.
because she's a year older than me. So it was a modern class. We were at the Park District. We were in the Studio One, so it was downstairs
Downstairs
with the pole,
poles.
with
Yeah.
the pole. And it was a modern class. I think it was one of my first ones. It might have been over the summer.
Who
And
was
I
teaching? Like
I
Jessica?
don't know.
Stephanie?
I don't know.
Uh-huh.
Maybe Jessica.
Okay.
Oh my gosh.
It's gonna have to have been
One
one
of
of
our
the
like
two.
OGs, yes. And we were doing modern, and I like thought you were so good, which you are so good. I still think you're so good,
Oh,
but you were so good. And I think one of us, I remember like gauchos being involved.
yes.
There were gauchos being involved, and you were just so good. And I was like, oh
Did
my
I have
gosh,
gauchos on?
I don't know if it was your meet, but maybe it was you.
Maybe it
And
was
then
both of us. And you're like, oh my God, we're wearing the same pants. That's so
that,
cool.
or I like wanted to get gauchos because you were wearing
Right.
gauchos.
That was a
Yes.
very like that had to have been what, 2007,
I
2006,
Yeah,
somewhere in there.
maybe like I was in 4th or 5th grade.
Like
So
they were definitely from Justice.
yeah, I remember having a brown hair.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Brown and pink, that was like the pairing to
But
do.
it's weird because, like, in the moment I wanted black, but now, like, I'm a brown girl. I don't need black
Oh,
pants anymore. But anyways, I
I'm so glad you
digress.
remember that.
But that was my first encounter.
I don't even like it's so sad because we really became friends like probably what when I was fifth grade, you were fourth grade,
Yeah,
or
maybe. Well, I don't
somewhere
know
right
when we
around
hung
there.
out.
I know, like the videos, we have videos of us making dances in my childhood bedroom, and that had to have been like sixth or fifth grade, maybe
Maybe. And then, but we were like besties in junior
in
high.
junior
In
high.
junior high, those were
Right,
our glory days, I think.
right. Like I remember walking from Adams to like Culver's with you.
Oh, I was trying my first right by my parents' house. It
That
was
was
the
a cool thing
hangout.
to do.
It was the
I
hangout.
know, but also like I had my instrument from band, so I remember like walking, like holding my cornet case.
Cornet.
Yeah, it's like a short version of a trumpet. That's what my
Oh
mom
my
played, so that's what we had.
gosh. I didn't know it was that fancy.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, we were band girls. I forgot, but we weren't in the same band like
No.
class because we were different grades.
Yeah.
We had like we did proms,
Mhm.
junior high.
Mhm.
Were there captains then? Like, what was the vibe?
No, but do you remember when like people from high school like came and
I think Al
choreographed?
Long, shout out Al
Yeah.
Long. I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
And like Ariana.
Oh my gosh. Yeah,
Like
but
they
we
came and like choreographed their routines, which is so funny in hindsight.
like so yeah, because we like
People
dance
that
with
are
them.
one
Yeah.
year older than us are like suddenly our choreographers and like kind of coaches.
Hello, welcome. And I remember feeling so cool because I was like, I know them outside because a lot of girls like didn't know them.
In the meantime, we're literally practicing in the like hallway of Adams Junior High.
Yeah, man, good times. I do miss that. We did high school, all high school dancing, we went to the same college, so we're pretty like
Yeah.
connected.
We're very connected.
We're like connected at the hip. But like, let's get into your dance journey. I mean,
Okay.
I know it, but let's share with everyone.
I started dancing, as Gabby said, we grew up at a park district, which is very like unconventional these days. You know, people ask you, where did you grow up dancing? And you literally have to be like, I danced at a community center, which is really crazy to think about. But our teachers were fantastic and eventually opened a studio. But I started dancing there when I was 3, and the reason I was in dance class was because I was painfully shy as a child. So dance was like one of the first things that my mom could actually get me to participate in that I wouldn't cry through. But she had like it was a very slow process of her having to be like sitting in the room with me, like me on her lap, and then like her sitting in a chair, and then her sitting in the doorway, and then eventually she could walk away.
I don't think I knew this.
Oh yeah, I was like,
But
yeah,
you were in gymnastics too?
I was in gymnastics too, but not until
Oh, it was later.
later.
She could trust you.
Dance was like my first thing that I really like latched onto, and like a little music class that she had put me in. Like
That's
those
so
were
funny.
the things that I always was like, yeah, this is fine. There was safety there.
There's
There was safety with Miss
Did she
Jenny.
did she watch oh, there weren't really, like, windows even though, like, how did she couldn't
No,
even peek in, it was a
no,
really big leap for you, I
it
feel.
was, yeah.
Like, yeah, because we were at the Park District, and we ended up going to Rise, which
Mhm.
is then we didn't really, like, compete or
No,
anything growing up, which
no.
I remember it was always, like, we went to competitions for performance.
Yes.
It was, like, really
Well,
fun.
our teachers basically they left the park district to open Rise Dance Center, and we didn't like know any of this until it happened. So I remember we were getting text
Yes.
messages like we're because this was in high school, so we're like in class, like I'm on my I didn't have an iPhone at the time. It was like a slide phone,
Oh, the
and
T-Mobile
I'm
slide.
getting texts that like Jan, Christine, and Noel are leaving the park district. And we thought we were being abandoned by our
We were
teachers.
so
Like,
upset.
we're like, oh my God, where are we? How are we going to go on with our lives? And then we, like, obviously learned that they were leaving to open the
Their own
studio.
studio.
So, yeah, we didn't compete until my sophomore year
Wha
was the
Yeah.
first full year at the new studio, and they started the competition team and whatnot. But we really, like Gabby said, only went for the performance opportunities. Like we went maybe 2 or 3 a year,
Yeah,
I would
maybe.
say, but also to like other like festival type of things
Yeah.
that like we would get invites
And
to.
I remember, like, we would listen to some of the judges' feedback and, like, no shade. This is not, like, a shade to any competition or, like, judge, but, like, some of it, they would be like, "Okay, well, like, yes, but no." Like,
Uh-huh.
we would take everything with a grain of salt just
Uh-huh.
because we weren't, like, a trick. So,
Yeah.
like, we weren't falling out, like well, you could actually, you could do all of the
Some
tricks.
things.
She did
Some
all of the
things.
me, I couldn't even do a somersault, and she's, like, backflipping everywhere, and, like, it's
No.
fine. No, you were so good at that. But that's yeah, it's so
No, but
interesting.
also, like, on the contrary, I feel like we got a good amount of feedback of, like, having pieces that felt like legitimate choreography and not, like, trick
Yes.
after trick. Like, I remember specifically one piece that I was in, maybe my junior year, that where the judge was like, "Oh, this is so lovely," just, like, movement quality. So I think that was
'Cause we
valuable.
yeah, we focused on that a lot too. Do you think how did that affect your, like, high school? Because you were she was, like, half in the Poms team in high school.
Yes,
It's
I
like, no
was.
big deal, she's fine. Wears all the hats. So how was, like, that how did that weave into, like, your studio life? And then, like, as we, get into
Mhm.
college, like, what do you think?
I always say that, like, my experience, doing poms or, like, the dance team in high school kind of defined my high school experience on top of dance, and I still feel like I learned a lot of valuable things from being on poms. Like, yes, the leadership of being a captain, but also, like, how to work with a team and, like, how to maneuver, like, things with coaches. I always say that, like, a lot of my hard hitting, like, ability to tap into, like, a hard hitting staccato
Mhm,
aesthetic came from, like,
mhm.
yes, hip hop, but also poms because it was so, like, drill sergeant,
Yeah,
like, you had to, like, excessively
yeah,
knock your joints out.
correct, yeah,
Um,
very,
but I
very
do think that's valuable because I, over the years, have taught a lot of students that don't take hip hop and
mhm.
don't have experience on a dance team, and there is a lack of awareness of, like, that aesthetic
Like, the
and
dynamic
movement
shift.
quality,
Yeah,
yeah.
for sure. No,
Yeah,
I was
so I
gonna
think that that was valuable, and I had a lot of fun, I mean
Yeah, it was fun. I was like, I think back to high school and I'm like, how did we literally manage all of that? Like, we did all of the things. 'Cause
oh,
I did
yeah.
Palms for 2 years and I did
Mhm.
work this, which it's like similar, like after school commitment wise. But do
Yeah.
you feel like that, 'cause you said it shaped your high school experience. Do you feel like it enhanced it? Do you ever feel like you missed out on things or like how did that fit in?
No, I don't feel like no, yes, I, like, missed out on things per se, right? Like, I remember one year I couldn't go to homecoming because I was performing with a professional company at the Harris Theater, like, as part of the youth program. So, like, like, at that time, it was like, "Oh, bummer, I have to miss homecoming," but, like, looking back,
Yeah,
it's
looking back,
like
like it's fine.
I mean, I was happy to be there, obviously, little things like that, but I think deep down, I always preferred dance and, like, the friend I all my friends were from dance,
Yeah.
really, so,
Yeah.
it's like, that's kinda where I wanted to be anyways, but going back to the, like, going from dance team to, like, Rise and whatnot, I have vivid memories of my mom picking me up from Palms practice that would end at like 5:30, and I would change into my tights and leotard in the backseat of her car, do my bun, shove food down my throat, and be in ballet technique class at 5:45.
No,
It was like, and it's like a 10-minute, maybe like 7 to 8 minute drive from the school to the studio. There was no in between.
no, we
And I
became
would always be so panicked that I was going to be late.
professional
Very type A,
professional.
so nervous I was going to be late. And like, my teachers would be mad at me.
Which also is so funny because it would like
Never.
not. I mean, it's different if you're just like serially. That's not a word. If you're always late versus like, okay, yeah, you're like rushing in traffic. It's just I don't know. But when you're like in it though, everything, especially high school, I think for me, and even college a little bit, everything is so over amplified. Like everything's the end of the world. Like if you're
Mhm.
late, end of the world.
Yep.
If like you miss something, end of the world.
Yep.
Which like
You get a B minus on your test.
like end of the world.
Especially for the type A girlies out there.
Type
Shout out.
A. Yeah, but it's like it's what's nice though about having dancer friends because like we all like kind of get it.
Mhm.
But like because you said you didn't have like a ton of other friends, which I didn't
No.
really like. I mean, actually,
No,
I
your
did.
social life, I feel like you've always been someone that branched out more
Yeah,
and like sought out other. I feel like I've always just been kind of in the comfort zone of like these are my people, and like not that I didn't ever make new
yeah.
friends,
But I mean,
I latched on to my people.
I think there's pros and cons to both though,
Yeah.
because I think you were also very confident in yourself, where I was like, I want to be other people, which it's nice to have other perspective of things, but also like how much perspective can you really get when you're in high
Mhm.
school? I feel
Yeah,
like you're just like
the frontal
so
lobe is not developed.
no, it's not anywhere close to being developed. So like there's just not that like room to do all of that. I feel like you were probably like obviously one of my best friends from dance. I was telling her we
Mhm.
like literally in junior high had our notebook. Which did we do that in high school?
No,
We had a notebook which
it was just our 1 year. Because we only overlapped the 1 year.
but we have two. I have the second one. Do
Mhm.
you have the first one? We had a notebook
God, it's right somewhere.
where we would literally
You know what? I think I do have it.
you must
I think it's in my closet
I think
at
you
my
have to
parents'
keep the
house.
first one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Where we would like write in our pretty colored markers. We would write notes to each other and then like I don't
In
we
the
had
hallway,
in the hallway we would pass it
passing
off. Which
periods.
is funny because I feel like kids nowadays don't like they would never do that. They
No,
have
because they're
phones.
just texting
They
each
have
other,
phones.
like, all day.
But the pen to paper, you know how I feel about
Yeah.
journaling.
We had little it was so funny, like, again, going back to our type A, like, we had rules for the notebook. Like, you couldn't write a note in the same color as the previous
Wait, I
note.
don't remember
We oh,
that.
yeah, we had to switch off, like, marker colors, and I swear there was, like, a pattern of some sort, and there was, like, a certain amount of time that you could have the notebook
Oh, you had
before you had to
deadlines.
we had deadlines, like, this was very serious.
But that
But
kind of tracks for us
oh my
though.
god, but, like, it really helped us stay connected, I feel, and, like,
Yeah.
that we wrote some of our deepest, darkest stuff in there,
No, honestly, maybe I
like,
should get it back because you
all
could
of the
expose
drama.
me.
Yeah,
Probably. There's
all
some
of the drama.
like reading some of it back. It's so funny. It's so
Now I'm
funny.
gonna go home and I'm gonna find it tonight. I know where it would be if I
Maybe
found
that'll be
it.
like a caption for this post. It's gonna be
A quote from
a quote or like yeah, maybe an insert from the insert from the
so
notebook. Oh my
necessary.
gosh, it's so good. But we even like we stayed together. Junior high, high
Mhm.
school, college. I followed you to college.
Yeah, you followed me.
I followed you.
I mean, we followed everybody.
No, we
We'll
did.
get
Yeah,
there.
wait. Well, let's talk about that. So
Okay.
like what I know why, but so like Western,
Mhm.
we both went to Western Michigan.
Mhm.
What was your like how what where did you apply to school? Like what made you decide there?
Yeah.
Just fill us in.
So our studio has like a very hefty lineage to Western Michigan. Our one of our main teachers from back in the Park District and also through Rise is Noelle. Shout out Noelle,
Shout out.
the best. She went to Western, so there was like always this interest to push, not to push, but like we we knew that the program was good because we saw what it produced, right? So there were people like every year from the studio that would continue on to Rise to Western
They would go
Michigan.
back to
They
Rise
would go
Dancer.
back
They
to
would go
Rise.
backwards.
They missed it so much.
I mean, valid. We do go
Yeah,
back.
we do. So I think just year after year, like watching dancers go to Western and like their experience, and we would go visit them and stay with them in
Mhm.
their dorms and their apartments and go see shows and whatnot. So there was always that interest. I think for me, I was very like tunnel vision. Like I was like, oh,
You
this
always
is
like that
yeah,
too.
I know
Yeah.
this YouTube, but in different ways.
Yes. Yes.
Um, I was like, Western Michigan is a place for me. Like that's where I'm going to go to school, and I didn't really apply anywhere else. only auditioned at Western, which in hindsight, I wish I would have gone other places, but just to like see. But I knew that I wanted to be close to home, which again, like
Mhm.
similar there. Um, and yeah, I the only other school that I considered auditioning for, which is like so funny looking back, is Butler University, which
Love
has a very good ballet program, but like that's what they're known for is ballet.
yeah.
And yes, like ballet girly at heart, like I love ballet technique, I always have, but I'm
Your path would have been so different.
well, and I know that I would have been so miserable if I ever would have ended up being a ballet dancer. Like, even in college, I did so much point work and I appreciated it, but that made me realize that like
Not for you.
ballet life would have not been for me.
Why do you think that?
Anxiety, for sure.
Just like do you think more of like the physical for me, like I mean my toes hated point shoes, like that would
Yeah.
be for me, but
No, not as much that. I think just like the mentality of it, like the perfectionism. I'm already a perfectionist as it is, and I feel like ballet amplifies that,
Mhm.
especially point work, because there's not a lot of room for error.
Yeah.
And yeah, just anxiety
Would
in the
you
point shoes.
if yeah, that for sure, the point shoe's not it.
Ugh.
You were better at falling though. I was like way too afraid to fall. Like you would like in a good way.
Oh, I
You would like
fell
push
a
yourself
lot,
to
but
fall. Like I think that's
no, but
good.
I hated it.
Well, it's not fun to fall. Like you're not like, oh yes, I fell again. But I don't know. Like for me, like I was always so nervous to like push myself, or especially in
Yeah,
a point shoe. I was like,
I think
oh
same.
yeah, well, girl. I was always like, dang, I kind of wish I could fall, but like I didn't. But
Well, in my eyes, too, falling was not a good thing because perfectionism, which I feel like I have changed so much in that way. Like I even say these days, like I'm less type A than I ever was.
oh yeah,
Just yeah, certain things where now I'm like,
where do you think you got your type A from, Tam?
no. Well, a little bit of both my parents, I
Yeah.
think.
They're like not in a bad way. Like I
No.
think I love being type A.
Yeah.
I say I'm type A minus though.
Yeah. I
Like
think that fits for
yes,
me too.
I
Over the
s-
years, I've become less type A, especially post college and like into my professional
I
career.
said that we should start doing instead of like type A, type B, it should be per percentage. So like I'm like
Mm,
93%.
mm,
Like because it
yeah,
just like that's just two boxes for me. It
yeah.
just I'm not
I don't
just type
know
A.
what percentage I'd be. I need to think about that a little bit more.
Yeah, maybe ponder on that and let me know. Get back to me on that. But
Okay.
if you could go back, I mean, obviously I'm not a believer in like everything happens for a reason. But if you were talking to someone who was looking to go into college for dance or for anything really, like
Mhm.
would you recommend like auditioning for different places? Because I feel like for me as well, like I didn't even really do research. I was just like, okay, like
Yeah,
this is it.
same.
And it almost, and I don't, I try to get back into that headspace of like, why was I like lazy? Was I afraid? Was I just like tunnel vision,
That's a good question. I think it was probably a combination of like both tunnel vision and also fear
and like
of like
overwhelmed.
not wanting to like go too far and also like not that it was ever like this, but maybe there was this like internalized fear of like disappointing our teachers for like
Mm.
not doing
Which is so funny because they would never say,
never.
but like when you're
Yeah,
18, 17, 18, you're like, you don't know. You're like, oh yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, like,
maybe. I don't know. I never really thought about that.
yeah, I mean,
Yeah, I mean, I knew I wanted to be close to home,
yeah,
and I think that, like, that option seemed like such a good fit to me, it seemed, like, shiny and perfect, and so I didn't really have an interest in looking anywhere
yeah,
else. But yeah, in hindsight, it's like because people ask you in the dance floor, like, "Oh, like, what other programs did you audition for? Like, what other programs did you get accepted into?" And you're like,
nothing.
I only went to one
You're like, I got,
audition, and it worked out for me.
yeah, I got what I
But
wanted.
yeah,
No,
everything happens the way it should.
what was your, you obviously don't have regrets about Western either. So like, what were your favorite opportunities about the program? Like,
Mhm,
what do you think it gave you, both like physically dance or like mentally, like lessons, like in that
mhm.
way?
Favorite opportunities, we got to do a SIP trip, which is a senior immersion project.
Oh,
Is that what this
oh my
stands for?
gosh, wow! I was like, I didn't
Something
even
like
know the
that.
immersion worked. So good for
But
you.
we got to go on a trip for free at the end of our senior year that was like funded by the university. And for us, I got to go twice, which was really fortunate and like kind of it wasn't supposed to happen that way, but it did.
Yeah,
And so both times I went to New York City. The second time was with Gab, and we got to go see shows. We got to take open class at Gibney and Steps, and all the places. But we got to go see a show called Sleep No More,
mm,
which like I feel like changed my whole mindset with dance. and we can talk about that a little bit more later as
Yeah.
well. But on top of that, I would say um, I feel like I learned a lot of valuable things from the faculty. I got a lot of performance opportunity, which is not always the case, so I was very grateful for that. Um, yeah, certain like choreographic processes,
I don't know. We weren't English teachers, clearly.
plural process, and yeah, just like little things here and there. Like I got to be part of a thesis project with one of my professors for her master's program that we got to do a performance in downtown Chicago. It was like a very small, like kind of intimate performance space, which again, I feel like kind of changed my mentality of like what type of performance I lean towards when it comes to at least contemporary work.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, I feel like those are the main things.
I mean, we had kind of more together. That was wild.
Yeah, well,
That was,
that was the best triple pirouette I ever did in my life.
oh my gosh. I mean, I was an understudy because I am not a point girl, but
Yeah.
like, I don't even know. But it was my freshman year. So it was
Do
like
you remember the audition?
briefly, not really. I remember the rehearsal process.
Okay, so here's the audition.
She knows. Okay.
So a ballet repetiteur of Lou Christensen's work came in to audition us and set this historic ballet. It's a comedy ballet called Conamore, and she walks into the room and it's
Leslie.
yes,
Yes, that's her name, right?
yes,
Okay.
I think so. She walks into the room and she says, "Ladies, I'm going to send you into Studio A and I need you all to work on your triple pirouettes."
Oh, I do remember. It's
That
coming
was
back.
the first thing. So
I blacked it out.
we walk through the clean foot corridor. We walk into Studio A and like that is like we're just a bunch of girls in there doing triple pirouettes or trying to do triple
I
pirouettes on
think
point.
that's when I checked out. I said, this is
Probably.
not for me. I said, I can barely, even like in the rides days, like I was afraid. I was afraid. I was
I
afraid of
was the
falling.
same. I was afraid of turning.
And I triple pirouettes in a flat on a good day. Like
I think
afraid.
exposure therapy in college helped a little bit because like we were kind of forced to like we were doing it all the time. But then because she works with the men, we come back into the studio and she goes one at a time down the line and we have to do our best attempt at a triple pirouette.
I for sure blocked this out.
To this day, that was I don't know, something was on my side that day. I did this triple pirouette. I landed, you guys, in releve, and like you know, if you're a dancer listening to this, you know that that's a flex. Like
it's a hard flex. You chose to land. Like you chose that pirouette. You chose that landing. Like it did not choose you.
I don't know how it happened, but I landed in releve. I swear it was like the slowest, like lift and land, and I was like, genuinely, like I probably made a face. I was probably
like you're hired.
So surprised, and then yeah, I ended up getting like a really good part, which again I'm thankful for. But just like random, it's like you know, it just shows you that audition. You never know what to expect.
No, you never know. Yeah, I think we had a lack of point girls, so then I got like tossed in the mix. But also,
no, but you were very technically strong.
I'm technically like a ballet.
Very valuable.
Yes, as a ballet dancer, I'm technically strong. As a point dancer, not as much. But I remember seeing
just from a confidence thing.
Oh, for sure, for sure. Yeah, I mean, that was like I think that's one of the only things we did together. I mean, you were in my works pieces, obviously.
Maybe was that really? Oh, we got to do remember
one.
I just saw a picture of it on Facebook because that's something I would have forgotten about. But
I would have.
But I wasn't in the original cast of it. I was not cast in it originally. We did the thing for President Dunn. Was that his name at the time?
Yes.
Yes, it was like some special event where we were performing.
It's coming. So you weren't in the show. Oh,
no.
You were an audition. I was one of not like the 8 best. I was the second tier. So it wasn't like a solo, but
you were right.
That's how I knew it was my character heel days, like the good times. But I think it was nice too, like at least at Western. I can't speak for any other college program, but we did get to audition for so many things. And like, but it's also interesting for me, like my freshman year, I went to that audition for Conamore because you needed to go to everything. You had, they like drilled it in you.
Well, and there was like also a requirement for BFA specifically that you had to go to certain things.
Oh, you had to go to all of the,
you had to go to all faculty and guest artists.
Oh, I mean, I was not there,
but also that was your freshman year. So.
But it's so interesting. But I think that's like, but then if that were my like last year of college, I would have just not gone to that, which is so interesting to see even like that transition from like when you start college to like the end of like all those little like moments that click for you of
Oh,
like
even my freshman year too, there was a ballet residency, which like to this day is still one of my favorite processes. Again, processes. I don't
we should
know.
we should have looked that up beforehand.
Excuse me. Um, and I almost didn't go because I was a freshman, and in my mind, I was like, "Oh, I'm not going to be good enough for this." Like the cast was small; it was a cast of 6,
I
and it was
think I
double
remember
casted. So,
this.
and 3 of which were men. So 6 men, 6 women. Again, I'm a
This is
freshman.
why I went to Connemara that audition because I loved that piece.
Yeah,
I came to
it
the
was an
winter.
Antony Tudor ballet
Oh, it was
work,
stunning. And you wore those like pretty dress, like flowy
blue.
dresses. Oh
Mhm.
my God, it was so pretty.
And I got cast in it. And
Yeah,
like
she was a
again,
star.
it's like I wouldn't have even gone to that audition because I just in my mind was like, I'm not gonna be good enough. I'm a freshman, no one knows who I am.
Yeah, it's
And
cool.
there was
So it's like,
like there was something else going on at that same time that I was like, oh, maybe I'll go to that instead.
but it's cool
Like
to see like both sides of it. Like you can also like you can say no to things, but also you can saying yes to things sometimes
Mhm.
is like also it gave you that experience that you would have never had, and you probably would have never had the confidence to do that triple pirouette.
Yeah,
Like you
it's
knew
true.
you were a point dancer from
Wow.
that moment on.
I guess so.
Well, speaking of point not at all, but I wanted to tell, well, actually, I'm jumping ahead now, but I was going to be like, did you ever do that as a professional? But before we get to that, you graduate college. We graduated the same year, though, because I graduated a year early.
Mhm.
So we graduate college. What did you do after that? Walk us through.
So my senior year, I don't feel like I went to many auditions just because like rehearsal schedules and we were in Kalamazoo, Michigan, and it was hard to, get to places. So I don't remember going to a lot of auditions, like at the end of my senior year, like preparing for my first year out of college. I always had this like backup plan in my mind that I would do the scholarship program at Luke County, RIP,
Hmm.
'cause that doesn't exist anymore. Very sad. Um, but that's what I ended up doing. I auditioned for the Luke County scholarship program. I got accepted. I was dancing 5 days a week downtown.
It's all
Um,
coming back to me now.
yeah. And then I was living at home because I'm from Schaumburg, which is where we are right now.
Schaumburg.
Yep. And I also got a job working at a restaurant. So I was dancing downtown. I mean, that occupied my time from like 8 a.m. to like 2 p.m.-ish
Hmm.
by the time I would get home. I'd shower, I'd eat, I'd go to the restaurant and I'd serve all night and get home probably, between 10 and 11.
So it's sounding interesting because it feels like the transition from high school to college and college to post grad is like very comfortable for you because it was just busy all the
Yeah,
time.
it was very busy. It was a grind. And I just remember being so exhausted at the end of those shifts, like feet throbbing, back hurting. And I was young at the time. I was only 22, but already like I could feel my body being like,
It's a lot. I mean, and I think
no.
I've never had a serving job, so like I feel like that's also it's just a different. It's kind of
It's a
like
different skill set.
well, I was to say on your feet. It's different, like for me standing on the side in Connemara in my point shoes, it hurts when you're
It
standing
hurts when you're
versus you're
standing.
like moving and like whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, granted, I guess you're walking,
Yeah, walked so many
but you're
steps around
walking.
that place. Like, and the restaurant was big too, like just constantly making loops. But
Do
yeah,
you
tired.
do you feel like 'cause would you recommend that? Like, did you like that? Because it was a nice schedule. I remember you
I
talking about
did.
that.
I I don't think like I've always said like I don't think I'll serve again just because it's really hard physically, but it's also harder mentally. Like you have to be like so on your game and aware of some things. So I don't think I'd do it again now, but I think for young people in transition, like serving is great. One, it's really good money, and two, you meet a lot of like I loved my coworkers, and I do still keep in touch with one of them. But it was nice to have like a community of people that wasn't dancers, which has really never been the case for me. I've
Right.
always like again, I just kind of like I connect with dancers, and I just have always enjoyed that. But it was nice to have like normal people, even like the clientele, just getting to interact with like every day.
Yeah, I was gonna say because you didn't. Yeah, that was probably your first like. Not your. It's not like you didn't talk to any other people,
Yeah.
but, like where you actually have something to bond with
Well, and it
another
was
person over.
consistent, like, it
Right.
was however many days a week
And
that I
you're like
was
adult, not just
yeah,
in your chemistry class. Like
yeah.
you're actually
And it was
with
at a
them.
microbrewery too, so, like, people were drinking, which I think it's always
Everyone's like,
easier to
yeah,
talk
everyone's
to.
like, relax a little bit. What kind of auditions did you go to then? Were you just dancing or like what was that like?
Yeah, I went to a variety of auditions. again, I was very tunnel visioned on I wanted to be in a concert contemporary company. That was the main goal, and so that was kind of what I geared myself towards. I went to auditions for Dance Work Chicago, Giordano, which is a jazz company, Hubbard Street. I mean, again, like all sorts of things. I also, ironically, I auditioned for Aladdin on Broadway.
I did not know
They
that.
they had an open call at Lou Conte when I was on scholarship there, so it was like a no brainer. Like, sure, yeah, I'll
I'm
go.
already
Like,
here.
yeah,
Yeah.
you know, um,
Oh my gosh, what was that like?
it was an experience for sure. I don't have like a ton of like really specific memories about it. What I do remember is like I knew a lot of people just from the Chicago dance scene, like, also being like, "Oh, well, it's at Luke County, so we'll go to it." I remember having to tap. There was the whole tap section, and I
Mm,
hadn't tapped since high school, so
tap is
it had
hard.
been like 5 years
If
since
you
I had put on tap shoes.
It's such a like a muscle you have to
Yeah,
flex.
and
It's
I was
so
like,
different.
"Whoa, this is rough."
And you're like, "Oh, yeah, I know how to flap ball change," but you're like, "Wait, but, like, what comes after that?"
The
Like, what
musicality,
yeah,
the patterning, the
yes,
remembering, the
yes.
sequencing, yes. So that was funny, and then blessed, but I was asked to sing, and I knew going in that that was a possibility, and so I was panic Instagram messaging a woman that I had taken an
This is
open
at the audition, or did you go back the next day?
no, this was before the audition. So
Okay,
I knew I was going to this audition. I knew there was a chance I was gonna have to
sure,
sing.
okay.
So I was like, what do I do? You know, I've never had to do this before.
No
So
professional training.
no, so at a dance works intensive, I had taken an open class from a performer who danced in Aladdin.
Oh,
Like either it was
wow.
either on Broadway or the tour.
Almost
I think it was
kismet.
probably the touring cast, but I was like, I'm gonna message her. So I messaged her and I was like, what do I do? And so she was like, you got to go on this website. You've got to pick a piece of sheet music. You've got to print it
You,
out.
like, literally
You
didn't
gotta
even know.
you got a 3-hole punch. You gotta put it in a binder. Like you're gonna give it to the accompanist, and like it needs to be, however many bars. And so I again like never been in voice lessons. Don't know what kind of voice type I am. Don't know what kind of music suits me. I
You don't even know how to, like, give do the audition.
no, no. So I picked Part of Your World from The Little Mermaid because I knew it well. Like I could probably just sing it because I knew the words, I knew the melody.
Smart.
So I picked that sheet music, printed it out. It was that in a binder. That was it.
They're
Just
like, "Where's the rest of your
no,
music?"
literally that's I sang.
How'd it
They
go?
asked me to sing. Oh, it was terrible. I was so nervous. And here's the we'll get into this as well. Like I'm a dancer first, right?
Of
Singing
course.
has always been I for you too. I mean, you did like
Surely.
choir and stuff.
Yeah.
Singing is something that we are both capable of, but we like don't have the experience doing.
Afraid. I'm always I don't know
Yeah.
why. That was a different level of vulnerability for me
Yeah.
singing versus dancing.
And
I don't
again,
know
I
why.
wasn't prepared. I wasn't in voice lessons. I didn't have any
Also
experience singing in front of people. So I walked into that just so scared. I walk up to the piano and I don't know, it's probably a table of like 3 people, like, standard. And I'm standing there just like shaking.
and that's the worst too, you're trying to sing and you need to be, like, so calm and, like, have your airways, like, good to go, and you're just like,
No,
like,
my voice
visibly
was trembling. I'm pretty
you're
sure
like,
like
"Oh, the
I'm pretty
vibrato."
sure the intro was supposed to be like 4 bars or whatever, and I think I maybe let a bar or 2 go
That's
by,
hard.
and I
It's
just started singing. I remember the pianist being like and,
h
like, kind of,
how'd it
like,
go?
looking over at me and, like, catching up to, like, where I was,
An
which, like,
angel.
professional, great,
An
amazing,
angel.
and, yeah, I stood there and I shook and I cried the rest of the day because I was so embarrassed.
So needless to say, like, we didn't book this job. Just to clarify. Okay, great.
No.
So unfortunately, but, that is iconic. So you do remember more than you let on, I think. You
Yeah,
do.
well, because that's the type of, like, trauma memory.
Yeah, see,
It's
I
like
think I block it out.
your brain remembers, like, traumatic things and, like, really great things, and
Yeah.
that was a trauma one.
Maybe you need to do that one day so you can, like, rewrite the memory in your brain,
That would be
perhaps.
great.
That would be good.
Yeah.
But you didn't end up at
No,
Aladdin, which wasn't your main goal at the time
no.
anyway. So, like, what was your main goal company? And then tell us about, like, where you ended up.
Yeah, okay, so I, like, was very tunnel vision. Western had a connection to a company called Dance Work Chicago, which is it's supposed to be like a startup company. So it's a very small company that rotates every 2 years, and we had seen a Western dancer go into that company. And so I always thought it would be a good fit for me. I was like, I would still be close to home. It would be, you know, a good start for me into my professional career. I adored the artistic director. And so I did their intensive 3 times. I auditioned for them 3 times and I did not get the job. And funny enough, the day that I got my last rejection email from them, I was with Gabby. I don't think we were somewhere in Michigan. Like, I truly don't even know where we were. It
Tell me
was
the
like
story. It's gonna
it was like some small house, and we were like laying in bed, and
why were we
I don't know. I swear, like Maddie was there.
where she was there if
Yeah,
we were in
but
Michigan.
it wasn't like at Western. Like I think we were like
I'm, like, having weird memories of it, but, like,
I don't know,
keep going. Maybe it's
but
gonna
we were
come
laying
back.
in bed, and I get a rejection email from DanceWorks for the third time, and like this was a company that like I was like I am gonna start my career at this company. Like I that was like
Yeah.
my manifestation. Like I want to be in this company so bad. And I got the rejection email. I'm like crying. And in the meantime, I had an offer from Eisenhower Dance Detroit for an apprenticeship. And so that was like I knew that if I didn't get the dance works job, I was gonna say yes to Eisenhower because of course it was an
Yeah.
opportunity and it was a temporary company and I also knew people in it and I was like, yes, this would be great. And so got the rejection email, crying, crying, crying. Gabby's like, well, you have, you know, something to look forward to. And I was like, you're right. And it was Labor Day. No, no, no. It was Memorial Day because it was May. It
Mhm.
was Memorial Day.
Yep.
And I pull out my phone and I go back into my email and I send to who was my previous boss. I have decided to accept the apprenticeship at Eisenhower.
But imagine if you like, that didn't happen, like, how different your life would be.
Uh-huh.
And maybe in a bad way, maybe not, but, like, that's
Yeah.
so why I mean, why you back to Michigan?
So yeah, I didn't think that it would have turned out that way, but it did.
And, like, okay, now that we're out of that, like, do you feel like that happened for a reason? Like, what do you like,
Absolutely.
what
I didn't when I took the job at Eisenhower, I, in my mind, had told myself or thought, believed that I was gonna be there for a year and then I would land another job or, you know, I would go somewhere
Mhm.
else. Like Eisenhower to me, like in my mind, I was like, this will be like my startup
Yeah, like
company
yeah,
that and then I'll launch somewhere else.
yeah.
And I ended up people that know me, I ended up being there for 6 seasons. So 6 years of my life was spent with that company, working my way from an apprentice up to senior company member, up to full company member, up to senior company member my last season. And I wore a million different hats in the organization as well. But I would have never guessed that I would have been there for as long as I was.
Can you break that down? I obviously, like, in Rockheads, it's like we don't have, like,
Yeah,
that that, like, train, the, like, ladder, so, like,
yeah,
how long like, what does that look like? How long did it take you in between? Was it, like, each season you had to work up, or, like, what were the opportunities
yeah.
in each role?
Mhm. So first year as an apprentice, um, it was a small weekly stipend. I gratefully and magically got to perform a lot more than maybe a typical apprentice did because there were dancers that were out with injuries. There was a dancer who had just gotten hip surgery, and then there was also another apprentice who had already been there for 2 seasons as an apprentice who tore her ACL.
Oof,
So
brutal.
yes, so there were some gaps to fill, and there were 5 apprentices that season, but I was the one that was chosen to perform, which was really awesome. And then my first season was when COVID hit. So, you know,
Of course.
transition into the Zoom, dancing in the living room, taking full contemporary class on carpet, trying to do ballet class on carpet
Talk about rug
with a
burn.
roommate who was also in the company. So sharing a living room, trying to take company class and do rehearsal together was whoa.
Was your apartment big? I mean,
It was yeah, it was a decent
the
size, but
Michigan
like
apartment's so nice.
yeah, but like
Never
if you picture a living room with like couches
oh, no,
and chairs, it's like there's only so much negative floor
it's
space.
miserable, and it's
Like we
just,
were
like
moving stuff around constantly.
and it still sucks, but I'm like, at least you had one person where
Mhm.
even just one person, it's just that not having the energy of even, like, the live I don't know if you have live music, but, like,
No,
music filling, like but, like,
no.
even, like, music through speaker systems versus, like, your computer screen and just,
Yeah.
like, bodies around you and
There
that,
were
like,
so many
live
days
feedback.
we would just be like low-key crying on the Zoom. Like turn our back around to do bar on the other side and we're
like
weeping.
it's like it's miserable. I mean, that's the whole point of dance is like connection and human and like
Yeah.
having that
Mhm.
in-person experience. So I feel like that Zoom COVID days hit
Yeah, but
extra hard.
yeah, so that was my second half of my apprentice season was all virtual. But then, so I had actually already signed a second apprenticeship. Like for the next
Oh,
season, I was offered an apprenticeship again because there weren't contracts that were opening up. And I signed it. I said yes.
so why? So why? Was it because it was COVID? Because remember you said you were gonna
There
like.
was security in it, and also like I really liked, even though my season was like cut short, I really liked the people. I thought that I liked the rep that we were doing.
Mhm. So you okay?
It felt like a good fit. And then a company member who had been with the company for a long time within the COVID shutdown kind of mindset changed, decided she wanted to start a family and she got pregnant. And then they had the opening for the contract and I got a phone call, said, "Hey, we're going to promote you to company member. Like, do you want the
She
contract?"
said no. I
I was
got
like,
it.
"Yeah."
No, I actually don't want that to do. I'll stay.
So, so I got a touring company member contract, which is like a little bit of a, I don't even think like they have I don't think they have that title anymore. Like
Okay.
that's just not a thing. Maybe it is. I don't know. But it was like kind of a smaller scale company member. But like nothing different other than the money.
Okay.
Like that was really the only defining
Interesting.
factor. Or like let's say we were to tour and there wasn't enough like funding to send
So you
everybody.
would
Like
be like,
maybe I would not have gone.
oh, interesting. Okay.
But yeah, so I
Almost
got
like a junior company member, really.
yeah,
Like if you, yeah.
I got that role. And then I don't know if it was that same season or the next season, but we got like a really big grant and like everybody got a really big raise, which was fantastic. And then I was a company member, and then after you've been a in the company for 5 years, you get kind of promoted to the title of senior company
Mhm.
member. So that was where I ended up my sixth season of
Okay.
six.
What was the like rehearsal schedule like? Like, were you there all day? Like, did you have other jobs? Like, how often did you perform?
Mhm.
You were doing a lot
Rehearsal
of stuff.
schedule kind of shifted through the years, cut back in hours a little bit just again because of funding stuff, but, um, 9:30 to 2:30 or, like, 9 to 3 was our rehearsal schedule Monday through Friday. Teaching in the evenings, like, almost I think every dancer in the company taught either at Eisenhower or for other local studios, and, my first season, I only taught maybe 1 day a week, 1 or 2. I thought about getting, like, a serving job, but I never did. Again, then, like, COVID happened, so things just kind of shifted.
So it's definitely is that I feel like that's gonna be normal for more contemporary companies of like having multiple streams
Mhm.
of income because
Yeah.
it's a shorter work day. And
Yes.
you, how many performances would you have like a
It
year-ish or a
depended.
month?
In terms of, like, home performances, like, locally, like, main stage shows, 3 per season, and then we'd have, like, little things here or there, like touring to the Upper Peninsula and, like, doing a show in, like, 2 or 3 different towns up there
So fun
for
though. Is it cool
yeah,
to get to travel?
yeah, I got to do probably not as much traveling as I would have gone to do if COVID had never happened because that, like, put a damper on things, but my 3rd season was it my 3rd season? Either my 3rd or 4th season, I got to go to Alaska for 5 weeks, which
5
was
weeks, that's so
the
cool.
absolute highlight of my life. I I would redo that in a heartbeat.
Would you move to
No.
Alaska?
I would not live there.
Okay.
It's a very different lifestyle out there, but, like, the people are so nice, and being there for the amount of time that we were was perfect because we went to 9 different
Wow. And it's a
so
big state.
in each yes, in each city we had or town, I should say, because there were some, like, really small places we had about, like, 4 or 5 days, so it was the perfect balance between performing and also having free time to go explore, and we also had a booking agent who is that what her title is? I don't know, maybe I'm thinking of the wrong thing, but she basically, like, coordinated all these different
Yeah.
excursions for us,
I
so we
remember
had
the
things
photos
to look
from
forward
that.
to, yeah.
It looked
We can throw some of those in the
so
profile.
beautiful.
It was the
Like,
best.
man, what a dream.
It changed my life.
So that was your biggest tour.
That was my biggest fear,
You
yes.
didn't have like any like because you had like one main show, right? At the end of
Yeah,
the school year, I guess, for lack of better
yeah,
term,
our, like,
May,
season
right?
closer,
So I
yeah.
came to your first one.
Yes, you
I
did.
remember I was like emo, but I remember watching you on stage too in that show, and I was like, "This is." I think I said it to your mom. Even I was like, "This makes sense. Like, this is where Tara needs to
Hmm.
be, at least like in that moment. Like,
That's really
you
cute.
just like
Thank you.
fit like so beautifully. Like, just very.
Thank
I mean, you've
you.
always been. I've been jealous of you since the Coucho days. No, we're just very different. And like but it's so funny because we're like I feel our approach to things is so similar because we have the
Mhm,
same upbringing, like quite literally, like through
mhm.
our young adult years, but then we just
And
went on
goals were we both had tunnel vision goals, but just
tunnel
like
vision.
different paths.
Do you think that? I think about this sometimes with the tunnel vision goal because I think going back to college days now, a lot of advice that we were given was like, stay really open minded and do everything and do all the things. But do you think that there's a time and a place where tunnel vision, tunnel goals like kind of serves you maybe? Like, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it depends on the case and the person and what someone's aspirations are, but I think tunnel vision can be both extremely valuable and also invaluable.
Yeah.
Like I oddly enough, it's like I had tunnel vision and ended up working out for me for certain goals, right? But now that I've shifted, I wish I would have done things slightly differently. Or but like
Right.
I always tell dancers now, like as a teacher and as a mentor, don't put all your eggs in one basket. But for some people that has worked out,
Right.
right? Like
Yeah.
for you, you kind of threw
I
all of your eggs into one basket
yeah.
and it got you
But
to that place,
yes.
and I don't think that you probably would have done anything
And for
too differently.
yeah, no, and I mean, yeah, because for me, I was like, I wasn't a dancer that was like, I just want to dance. Like
Mhm.
I wanted to do like Rockette, Broadway, like that was like my thing. Whereas like I think in some people they're like, oh yeah, I would do anything. I would do a cruise ship. I would do modern. I would do Broadway. Like I would do anything.
Yeah, I think I was
So
open to that too, but I kind of settled on the contemporary option. I think maybe just because that's where my strength was and it felt
yeah,
safe to me.
but I also feel like maybe if you didn't have that time and that tunnel vision, you wouldn't have got that job, and that
No.
job wouldn't have given you the confidence to start to like do anything else if
Even
you
like,
wanted
yeah,
to.
the network and the
Yeah,
people
yeah, it's just an interesting like, thought of like tunnel. I feel like you had tunnel vision, but not in a debilitating way
not
because
limiting,
you were
yeah.
able to be like, yeah, I didn't get the company I wanted, but I'm not gonna just like throw it all away. I'm
Mhm,
gonna go do this other opportunity that
mhm.
in reality was probably the right one for
Absolutely.
you.
I
So
always say in hindsight, I don't think I would have been as happy as I thought I was going to be if I would have landed like my quote unquote
yeah,
dream job at the time,
if
you know?
yeah, no, for sure. So if there was a dancer listening to this that wanted to be in a modern contemporary company, like what words of wisdom, what would you say to them in like any of the realms we talked about?
Um, I think do your research, like know what companies you feel like are truly a good fit for you. Um, go to as many intensives as you can, which is easier said than done because of costs. But that I mean that's the best way to like test it out and to get to know people is to like throw yourself into it and like actually see, okay, is this do I do I like feel like I fit in with this company's mission, like let
Mhm.
alone their aesthetic and like
Yeah.
the reps that they're doing, the choreographers that they're bringing in, but like the mission. And my artistic director always kind of drilled that into us of like, if you don't align with our vision, that's okay, but you need to recognize that for yourself and like this might not be the place for you. Like
Yeah.
after a season, like maybe over time you realize that oh like I'm actually not I don't
What is Eisenhower's mission?
oh goodness. Great question, Gabby. I mean, Eisenhower does a lot of like community
Yeah.
outreach. And I think that's a really big part of it is like bringing accessible art to the city of Detroit.
Yeah.
Because even to this day, our ticket sales, like it's not like a standard adult ticket is $30. And you have to pay $30 or whatever the amount is. They do a pay what you can option. So like somebody maybe like a college student or um, a community member in the city of Detroit that doesn't have a lot of income, like they could literally pay $1 to come see a main stage show.
That's really cool. That's really
Yeah.
cool.
So I think that there's a big emphasis on that and also just like supporting diversity and all of
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
all of the things.
Yeah. No, that's really cool. But I think that point too of like going to different I think growing up as a dancer, I know you were good about this too. We were both good about like going to summer intensives and
Hmm.
branching out
Hmm.
because I think that again, not even just with dance, like anything when it's like you don't know what you don't know.
Mhm.
So if you're like
You get in
staying,
your comfort zone.
yeah, you get in your comfort zone, and then also when you don't want to be like the best, what is it? I can't think of the phrase, but when you don't want to be the best person in the, you don't want to be the smartest person in the room or the
Mhm.
best dancer in the room. You always want to find rooms where you have somewhere to grow. And
Yeah.
I think like being able to do different summer intensives and things and having that opportunity in that way, again, within reason. And a lot of them have like scholarship applications and things. So like
Mhm.
there are, again, doing your research,
Yeah.
like, and finding things that are going to push you and expose you to other
Exposure.
things.
Yes.
Exposure is
There's
really big.
no better thing than stepping out of your comfort zone, like, truly for an artist.
I think if you can like gaslight yourself and thinking it's fun, eventually it does
Yeah.
become fun because now, within reason, like I always say this now where I'm like, I think it's kind of fun to take hip hop, but I also like don't want to be uncomfortable anymore. Granted,
Mhm.
I'm not really dancing that much anymore,
Mhm.
but like in that way, like performing wise, but
Mhm.
like I'm like, I don't want to be uncomfortable anymore. Like I've just reached that point in the dance class
Yeah.
scene. But like growing up
I
though, it
think
was
that's
like,
also valid, like,
yeah,
as a 28-year-old. Is that how
yeah,
old you are?
I am 28. I am 28. Oh, you're almost that big 30. That means
Mhm.
wowie. No, that's really very cool. What made you okay, actually I'm not gonna spoil it. What are we doing now? You said, well, I guess you already said you did 6 seasons. So
I
when
did
did you
6 seasons.
finish? Talk us through that transition.
Uh-huh. I so our season typically ends, like, end of April, early May, and we have to give, like, a verbal commitment usually by, like, the middle of March because they hold auditions and they kinda need to know if they have contracts to give out. So I for it was, like, 2 years, I would say, had been, like, kind of, you know, been questioning, like, when is my time to depart? When am I gonna be ready? When am I willing, I think, to take the leap? That was another thing is, like, there's always something that's gonna hold you back, wanting to stay somewhere where you've been.
It's comfortable
It's
even.
Yep. Yeah, there's a comfort and there's a security in staying somewhere that you've already developed, like, a seniority and a
Well, and they say the brain like change and that it's literally trying to protect you because
Mhm,
it's like when you don't know like, what's going to happen, and your brain is like literally like, no, you need to stay in your comfort because it's back in the day
mhm.
you didn't like literally like
Real science.
the caveman days of like the danger and things, it's literally like trying to protect you and like trying to keep you what you where you are and what you know and what it can predict,
Mhm.
which is weird to think about.
Yeah. So, it really had been, like well, he the thing is, like, I always had this itch to do musical theater.
You have
Even back in college,
we should
the
pull up some
summer
Facebook videos of you singing on my wall.
Oh, yeah. Even back in college, like, the summer that I lived there, I was looking for additional work opportunities, and there's a production that they do for the incoming freshmen, like, for
Oh
orientation.
yeah,
It was at the
yeah,
time, it was called The Bronco Way,
yeah.
but it was, like, a musical theater thing about, like, college life as a freshman, and I auditioned for that because I wanted to do that over the summer, but again, like, I'd never been in a musical theater production before.
Wait, did you audition for that?
I auditioned for
Oh,
that.
you did.
Yeah.
See, I was gonna say that's so interesting because my experience in college, like I felt like it was like you couldn't like do other things.
Mhm.
It was, oh no, the concert is the
Yeah.
way to go.
Well, and I even thought about, like, joining an a cappella group and, like, things like I was thinking about, like, other ways that I could get
More
more
exposure.
yeah, and just, like, I thought it would be fun. Like,
Yeah.
I took a piano class as an elective, which
So
in
fun.
hindsight, I wish I would have taken, like, a vocal class, but again
We digress.
yeah, yeah. Um, so I I think it was, like, 2023 when I was in Eisenhower that I, like, really started to be like, "Okay, I'm getting older," which at the time was like a panic of I'm getting older.
Oh,
Now it's different. I'm,
yeah.
like, really excited to turn 30, but it was, like, in my mind, I was like, "I gotta do this soon because, like, I know it's gonna take time." Like, body, it's like, "How long is this gonna hold
Like
up?"
your gut knew that you needed to try something
Oh, yeah.
else. Like, and not because you didn't love what you were doing, but you
Yeah.
just wanted to experience more. Because I
Yes.
think that's like so hard. That's what I've been learning over the past couple of years of like the two conflicting emotions can be true. Like you can
Mhm.
like really want to stay and like love what you're doing, but also be really excited and like
Mhm.
want to go do something else, and like neither negates the
Mhm.
other. Like me, like stepping away from Rockets of like it's not that I don't love it, but I just like I'm excited about doing other things, and
Mhm.
it's like you almost feel like you're betraying it a little
Yeah.
bit. You're like, "Oh, I can't like, I've been with this
Yeah.
company, I can't
Well, and you
leave."
just start to picture, like, all of the things that you're leaving behind, and,
Yeah,
like, for me, a big part of it was my students and how much I loved them, and I was like, "Oh my
which is
god,
crazy. You
they're gonna be
never
so
liked
sad."
teaching.
I
That was a big
know. I
surprise
know,
for
that
you
was one of the biggest things I learned about myself
because
through
she's
that job.
teacher Tara.
I love it.
So
Um, but yeah, it was me and another company dancer, on a tour. It's just the 2 of us. We were at a university to set a piece of rep that we were gonna be performing with the students the next fall. And, we were hanging out in the hotel. It was, like, one of our last nights there, and we got into, like, an emotional talk of, like, she was kind of ready to move on. She wanted to, get married, start a family soon,
mhm.
and I was, like, again, like, always in the back of my mind, like, "Ugh, I'd love to be on Broadway one day, or I'd love to, just do musical theater work in general," and I remember, like, crying and, like, talking to her about, like, how scary it was to, like, step away from,
No, it is,
where
though,
I
it's real.
was and, the unknown of how long things would take and, like, I mean, like, I'm not super fond of New York City, like, just, being there long term, so that has always been, like, the biggest thing for me of, like, I don't know if I could actually do it, and also, is this thing that I think I want what I actually want?
Mm,
Like,
yeah,
toying with that, so, yeah, I was like, I don't
that's so
know.
much.
So that was 2023, and then, so come my last season, I knew that was either gonna be my last season or I was gonna do one more, and again, because there was something, like, that was really pulling me and, like, wanting me to stay at Eisenhower for another year, um, but it was, like, fall, we were doing a performance at the Egg in, Albany, New York, which is, like, a really beautiful, big, kind of well-known venue for contemporary dance and other things, and it's, like, again, like, this shiny thing, like, "Oh, I'm on this tour, at this beautiful like, one of the most, like, awesome venues I've ever performed at," but I was like, "I'm unhappy."
Yeah, that's hard.
Yeah, I was like,
When you're, like, trying to be excited, you
"Yeah,
know it's an amazing opportunity.
mhm,
People would kill to have that opportunity, but
yeah,
and it's like, yeah, you feel guilty almost.
yeah,
You're like, "Wait,
yeah."
I should be more grateful for this." But it's like, not you shouldn't,
Uh-huh,
but that's how
yeah,
it feels, like, "Wait."
mhm. So I think that's when it, like, really clicked that I was ready for something different, but the conundrum of the there's a guest choreographer that's in with Eisenhower right now for a 6-week residency who was or is and was the choreographer of Sleep No More in New York City, which was, like, my dream job, which,
She would've been
again,
so
that show
good.
does not exist anymore in New York City.
So if you're listening to this and you have connections, bring it back. Thanks, so Tara can
Yeah,
perform.
I mean, they still have, like, they have a production of it in Shanghai now, but anyways, the choreographer of that is working with Eisenhower right now, and, like, that was the one truly, like, the one thing that I was like, "I feel like I can't miss that."
Mhm.
But after, talking with my artistic director and thinking it over more, like, it wasn't gonna be fair to myself to hold myself back for just that one thing.
So did you, like, had open communication with your
Mhm,
that's really cool, and she was, like,
mhm.
talking you through it, which
Yeah,
is really cool because I feel like that's not a thing you can always do with
yeah,
any job of like, "Hey, I kind of wanna leave, but, like, what do you think?" Like, you can't really that's, like, a cool thing, you can't do that in most situations.
yeah. Well, I think, like, she has seen so many dancers go in and out and experience, like, that shift in life, and herself as well, like, she's
Mhm.
experienced that, and so she knows what it looks like when a dancer is ready for something different.
Oh, so did you approach her? Did she approach you about it?
I think it was, like, kind of a mutual thing. I mean, when we had to give our verbal commitment, I had sent back an email saying, like, "I don't have an answer because we got an email a lot earlier than we typically did, so I,
Mm,
like, wasn't ready to give an answer yet. So I kind of said, "Hey, I'm really still in consideration with options, and I don't have an answer for you right now, unfortunately, but, like, we can, open this conversation up." And so that's kinda how it, like, started.
interesting. Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay, well, that's
But
real I mean, that's, like, really, really cool that you were able to do that.
Mhm.
So that was your moment of, like
That was my moment, and then I was like I hadn't decided then, but I knew, like, that there was a good shot that that was gonna be my last season, and I started making that pretty known amongst, like, the
mhm,
dancers, and even, like, the guest choreographers, like, we got to work with the Sleep No More choreographer for 3 days in January as, like, a kind of a pre-residency, like, trial run or just, like, get to know the person, and we sat down 'cause I just wanted to, like, pick her brain a little bit
mhm,
about,
yeah,
the
it's so
show, and
cool.
I was like, "This is one of the most amazing connections." And so we chatted, and I kind of clued out her that there was a possibility that I wouldn't be back for the residency.
Mhm.
And we talked about that a little bit, but that was the one thing that like really
That's
was stabbing
hard.
at me, but I knew that it was time.
Yeah.
And I don't think I wasn't ready to like admit it yet, but my boss was the one who was like, if that's the one thing that's holding you back, like you need to go.
Yeah.
And like she like word for word, she was like, I think you need to go.
She said, "Bye, get out of
And
here." No,
she's
I'm just
like,
kidding.
not that I, I would never push you out of this door because you know how much,
Mhm.
we
Yeah. Value you
love
and
and
yeah.
respect the work that you've done for this organization, but it's not fair to yourself. It's not fair to the other dancers for you to be like half in.
Oh, agree. I mean,
And
that yeah, I can obviously
and
relate to
I
that.
just already know that it was the right
So
choice.
that do you think it was that conversation and that realization that you pushed past because you talked about, like, the fear of taking that leap, so that was what was able to push past the fear, or was there something else that you were like, "Wait, I, like, can get
No,
past this?"
I think I was still scared. I mean, even when I finally said it out loud of like, yep, I that's my decision. Like I was a mess for the next like 4 hours. I was
Oh,
crying
for
and
sure. Same.
scared out of my mind, of course. But as the days went on, I was like, yeah, I'm ready,
It's
and then I had time for closure, which
that's
I
nice
think is
too.
really valuable. Like I had then because I think I finally made that choice, um, like end of March. So I had like a month and a half of the season left, and then also a whole summer of still working for the intensives and stuff to be like, okay, this is my last 3, 4 months
It
in
makes you
Detroit.
appreciate it more too. Were
Yeah.
you so you're back in Schaumburg now.
Yes.
Were you, like, happy? Are you missing Michigan? Are you liking being home? Like,
Mm.
how was that how was, like, the physical move transition?
Physical move was easy. It always has been an easy kind of transition back and forth between
They're
Illinois
not
and
that
Michigan because they're
different.
very similar.
Yeah.
I mean, it's 5 hours away, but like being in the suburbs of a city, it's kind of all it
It
feels
hits
the
the
same.
same. Yeah.
It feels the same. But in terms of like being back home, it's been fine. I've been living with my parents as my thing was I didn't want to sign a lease. Like I toyed with the idea of living by myself, getting an apartment, but I was scared to sign a lease if I wasn't confident that I was going to be able to fulfill the lease for a whole year. Because
Yeah.
like you
That's
just
a lot.
when you're freelancing, you don't know what is going to pop up.
It's cool
I
you can
mean,
stay open and you're choosing to stay open and be like,
yeah,
"I'm gonna see what the universe gives me and what opportunities come my
right. And
way."
I knew that that wasn't likely to happen.
Never say never.
Never say never. I mean, yeah, but I was just like, I'm gonna live at home because
I mean,
I'm
why
gonna save
not?
money and I like my parents.
And I
I
like
have a
my
good
parents.
relationship with my family, so
Well, it's probably nice after all this time to be so far away to actually, like, have more time
it's
with
been so
them.
nice. And for those of you that know me, you know that I have a niece and nephew who I adore and I get to see
Mm.
often. And they were also the reason that I was like, I think I'm ready to be back because I was like sick of only seeing them on FaceTime.
So sad. I know that's the hard
They're
part
my
for me
best
too,
people.
is about being in Texas and, like, my baby's
Hmm.
here, but
Yeah.
do you see yourself, like, staying in Schaumburg and, like, auditioning? Like, what's our plan? What's our goal?
Um, I I want to do like a short term sublease in the city, in New York.
In New York?
In New York, like at some
Okay.
point,
She's
I'm thinking like maybe summer at some point.
okay.
We'll see timeline wise, but I'm going for 4 days in December
Oh,
just to
okay.
like take class and stuff.
Yeah.
Um, I don't want to be in Chandler forever. I think that if it comes to it of like I think I'm going to be in the Chicago area for an extended period of time that I would get a place like either in the city or closer to the city
Yeah, for sure.
because like you can always set your lease and then be like okay no I'm going
Yeah.
somewhere else.
Yeah, I mean, it's annoying, but it's not impossible to,
Yeah.
like, break a lease for sure. What are you doing in the meantime, audition-wise and
Mhm,
training-wise
mhm.
and
I've been taking class downtown at Visceral Dance Center
ballet?
3 days a week. I've been taking ballet and theater jazz.
Oh, she's a
So
theater
theater
dancer.
jazz
She does have
usually 2 or 3 days a week, and then ballet
she
two
does have my
days.
Lady boots, my
Yes, I
pair that I have not
do.
worn yet, and she had a good time picking them in.
I texted Gabby. I was like, my foot is not entering this
I said,
shoe.
"You need to trust. We do have
You
different
said you need
shapes."
to put tights on,
I
and
did
I was like,
well,
oh,
but this is what I told you because, it's like similar to a point shoe where it should be a little smaller, they break in. But to me, like a Laduca boot, it is sometimes worse than that,
Yeah.
and they expand so much more than you think
I
they would.
was fully convinced my foot was not getting in that shoe,
We
and I
we also
persevered.
we also have like the feet pics on our phones
Yeah.
because we were just, she was like, show
I
me
was
what
like,
you're.
"Your foot has gotta be so much smaller than mine."
I was like, no, and she's like, send me a picture. So it's literally like my foot out of the covers in bed, and like she sends it back. I'm like, oh, I see, it's a little different
Little
shape. Okay,
liar, whatever.
it's fine, but they do expand so much, and I hate my
Mhm.
very first pair of Laduca boots.
You
They
got the
like
sweat in them.
they're big-ish, and then when I like go on my toe, it kind of sinks, and I'm like,
Mhm.
are they just stressed? But
Yeah, no,
now you like them
there's not
now.
really any wiggle room in there, but they don't give me blisters,
That's great.
which is fantastic.
That's awesome.
I'm not really prone to blisters,
Yeah,
but
I am,
they're
unfortunately.
they're good. But
Yeah.
yeah, I've been taking class. I've been auditioning. I've only done a few in-person auditions so far. Um, one Frankie.
Frankie's scratching at the door.
Um, one of which was an open call for The Lion King, which again, like I'm glad I went.
Oh.
I went to it knowing that I was gonna be cut
You have to go
like
though.
really early.
You have to like
But
experience
yeah,
it.
it was great. I mean, I got to dance. I did like a 2 8 count
She
modern
didn't sing.
combination. I didn't get to sing.
Dang. You
No,
probably would have been more
I got
prepared.
cut first round, but I was prepared. I had a song prepared.
It's ironic that you weren't prepared the last time, but
Right.
you had to sing, and then anyways,
Yeah.
it's okay. You'll get to sing soon,
Yeah.
don't worry.
Well, it was good. And then I've been doing like a couple of virtual submissions as well that pop up. I'm on the Playbill website looking for things.
Are there a lot of in-person auditions in Chicago right now for like Broadway type stuff or no?
I haven't seen a lot of stuff that's like coming through, but the like virtual submissions could really be for anywhere. So I like submit, and then if you get a callback, like you'd be traveling to the
Are
callback.
you subscribing to any? Like I know there used
Not
to be.
yet.
Okay, I didn't know.
No.
I've been out of the game for that a little bit,
Mhm.
but that was just for anyone listening. So there's not as many in person. Would you like fly for auditions or like what's your
I've
take on
gotten like some
that?
advice from different friends that say that like spending a lot of money to travel for like a big open call like that isn't really worth it.
Hmm.
It would be more worth it if like it's something you had been to a lot of times and like they've seen your face already a
Or
bunch of
maybe, or if
times.
you like had a couple you could like stack.
Yeah.
Maybe like you have like four back-to-back
Right. So
auditions.
like
Like
when I'm
yeah,
in New York, like I'm gonna be looking for auditions those days,
yeah,
obviously that I'm
and
there.
it's hard because these times just pop up. You can't
Yeah.
necessarily like it's
Yeah,
not
they
something
I
you
feel
plan.
like they pop up really
You
last
can be
minute.
like, oh, I'm gonna go in 6 months. It's like, oh wait, there's one next week. I gotta like
Mhm.
figure out if I want to, which is like the nice part about being there. But I didn't know because I feel like the Chicago dance scene has evolved so much over the
Mhm.
past few years,
It
and like
has.
what is here and what's
It's
not.
also
So
just fun to be in the theater scene per se. Like just, I I had like an aha moment. I was doing so I've been taking class with one teacher who he wanted to make like a teaching reel.
mhm.
So he had like a videographer in class and we did like a whole filming day and it was like the end of the filming and he was like doing the combo as a solo and we were all just kind of like sitting there like, giving energy and I look at my friend Caitlin, who is
My friend
Gabby's
too.
marketing girly
My marketing queen. Everyone.
and a superstar dancer as well. And I just like looked at her and I was like, I'm having so much fun.
Oh, it is so.
Like you
It's so
just,
different. Yeah.
yeah, it's just totally different energy. And it's fun to flex a different muscle, like kind of dust off the jazz girl
Yeah,
in me.
it's so different, but it's like cool to have that like part of because it's like in your roots. Like you did jazz
Hmm.
growing up,
Yeah,
and now to like bring that back in is so cool.
yeah. And I booked a gig.
Okay, wait. I don't even think I know about
I'm sure
this.
I told you.
Wait, let's hear
So
it.
the same teacher that I mentioned, he's
Yes.
choreographing it's a
I
production
knew you auditioned. I didn't know you booked it.
called Spectacular Spectacular, and
Oh
it's
my
like a shadow
gosh.
cast of the Moulin Rouge film. And I get to be in the
Cool.
ensemble for that, so I'm super excited,
What
and I know I'm gonna have an absolute blast.
is it? Wait, is it it's film or it's a show?
No, we're like performing live, but so it's I didn't know what a shadow cast was, so I had to like look it up.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
they project the film, and
Mm,
then you're like, dancing, you're like acting, and dancing the
that's
movie
so
like in front of
fun.
it.
Oh my gosh.
So like I've
Wow.
never done anything like this before, so I don't like have
When
a
is it?
full
We should
idea of what
we'll
to
have to
expect.
put the
And
info.
February, end of
February.
February.
Okay, well, you'll send me the info. We'll put it in. We can go
Yes,
watch Tara. That's so fun.
I'm really excited.
Wow, that's really cool. And you took the
Yeah,
leap. I'm proud of you for taking
thank
the leap.
you.
It's like scary, but it's like cool because you get to learn so much
There's
about
so much to
yourself.
look forward to.
And like, yeah, I can't imagine staying in the same thing forever. Not that
No,
I mean, I guess you can't be in
no,
one thing
I was
forever.
starting to feel stagnant, and that's also how I knew I was like,
We
yeah,
gotta grow.
we
Gotta
gotta go.
grow.
We gotta go somewhere and do something.
I love
and
it.
I'm having so much fun in the meantime.
I think fun too is the key because when
Mhm.
you're not having fun, like, what's the point? Because
Yeah.
I think being a professional dancer or a professional artist,
You
a
can take it
performing
so
artist,
seriously. It's like, I don't have to take this so seriously all the time. I
that's
think that's what was really getting to me with contemporary is like I was taking it way too seriously.
it's not
Like,
that deep.
not as a bad thing, but like to the point where like I was just so anxious with performing and
Yeah.
I can't be doing this anymore. You know, like
Yeah.
this is supposed to be fun.
Yeah.
And it had nothing to do with like
The company.
the company or, you know, my job responsibilities. It was like 100% me.
Yeah. No, and you put that pressure back on yourself and it's time to like,
Yeah.
yay. Okay. Recording questions for you. What
Oh,
have you
so
been?
sad.
I know. It's so sad, but time flies. What have you been kicking it with lately?
I have a list because I knew I'd forget.
She came prepared.
I put it in the
Okay.
document. I'm not gonna I love my lists. So do you.
I love this. It's so
Okay.
so fun.
I've been kicking it with newness.
Oh,
Just, you
okay.
know, new things
All the things.
naturally. This transition. I already kind of mentioned this, but turning 30, like the idea of turning 30, I'm actually really excited about,
Okay.
which is a big change for me because between like 26, 27 age, I was terrified. I was like,
I'm
holy
still a little terrified, so
schnitzel. I'm so scared. Like, I'm going to be 30 in 4 years. You know, like I was like, so like, shut up.
like literally a whole
And
college
now,
experience.
well, I've seen like a lot of friends turn 30 and like I've heard it countless times with people being like 30
It's the
is the
best.
best. Like
Yeah.
30s are your best years. So I'm excited now.
Yeah. That's a great reframe.
And being an aunt,
Mm.
kicking it with being an
Oh
aunt.
my gosh, they're
And
so cute.
last but not least, bacon.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Well, I've always loved
Yeah,
bacon,
you
but
have.
now that like my parents make it a lot, so I've been eating it more recently. But like I never would make it for myself when I lived in Michigan for whatever reason.
It doesn't feel like an easy. It is
It is
easy,
like you
but
can just bake it in the
it
oven.
doesn't feel like doesn't it feel like a lot? Like
Yeah.
it feels
Well, and
warm and
like
it's
a whole
sizzling and
pack of
it's
bacon, it's like, what am I gonna do with that when I live by myself? So I like bacon.
great.
Yeah,
She's a bacon girl.
I'm a
I'm
bacon girl.
so dead. Okay, then what are you cooking to the curb?
Okay, so I like randomly heard this from two different sources recently. One of which was this guy that I randomly met at the Tate McRae concert. He was sitting next to me, was also a dancer. Like it was like
Or
very small world thing. From a story that he posted, and then like another, like literally the next day, it was like a podcast episode that I was listening to, which I couldn't even tell you what it was, but it was both situations. They were talking about like why do people like say mean things or like make fun of people when like about something that they really genuinely enjoy. Like just
oh yeah.
because you don't enjoy it, like that doesn't give you a right to be like,
I think it's also I've heard it similar where it's the only people judging you are doing less than you, or they're jealous of you in some way. So
yeah,
like people like there's something about what that person's doing. Like it doesn't have to be the literal thing, but like even just like oh they're doing something they're passionate about, and they don't have the courage to do what they're passionate about
hmm
so openly, which is
hmm
like the same lines of like
and
why are we
I
being mean? Why are we judging
yeah, and
people?
I'm not
Yeah,
saying that like that's something that I was doing, because I'm not. But even like recently, like
like not letting it affect you maybe as much for the fear of that.
yeah, or like even like I'll tease my dad about certain things because he's super stubborn. I'll like make fun of like little things he does, and I'm like, I don't really need to do that, you know. Like as long as my dad is like chilling and happy, like
Yeah, who cares?
you
Like
know. And I think
yeah,
just because it's family and it's like
it's
you feel like
different.
you're teasing them,
Greg's easy to mess with
but
too.
yeah. So here's my what I tell all the people now is like just be nice.
There's yeah, I
Like
don't
if something is bringing someone joy, like just let them be joyful about it.
I love it.
Yeah.
I could not agree more because it just that's like my whole MO though is just like everyone doing what
Yeah.
they want to do and being happy and like as long as it's not hurting other people,
Yep.
like
So
who
we
cares?
kick that to the
We
curb.
kick it to the curb. We're not judging. We're being nice to people. We're kicking meanness to the curb. Not that
Kick
you're like you don't.
kicking, yeah, kicking meanness.
I say you don't really have like any meanness in your body, but that's
I
okay.
like to think not.
You don't.
Especially like as I've gotten older. I think as a teenager, we all could be a little brutal at times.
Oh
But
yeah, but it's all from insecurity. But
yes.
yeah, yeah. Thank you so much for hanging, you guys. We're gonna put all of her things in the show notes. Go follow Tara.
I've got to pull out some good pictures for
We'll,
y'all.
we'll pull out some dope pictures. You can go see her
Throwbacks.
if you're in Chicago in February at her
Yes.
first non-contemporary gig. So
Yes.
exciting,
Well,
but
not really my first non-contemporary gig, but in my new era, yes.
in her new era, the new era, you can find her Like, subscribe, follow, and we will see you next week on Kicking It
Yes. Follow
Real.
Kicking It Real Pod. Gabby's the
Woohoo!
best. Superstar.
And come.